Shalom. All praises, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, or the true leaders of all Israel on earth today. Salutations to all the Akim out there that are doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so. To the confusion of faith and the hopeful elect that are listening and learning. To you I say Shalom. Once again, all praises, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Rakakadash. Okay, this lesson is basically going to be about the fabrications that Esau uses to try to discredit the truth, because he really doesn't believe in the scriptures, and how they try to use the scriptures and then use other things to prove their own points. And then when you disprove what they're saying according to the scriptures, you know, like for example, when you start going into the fact of the written word is what it says that the Most High power looks like, what the Lord looked like, and what the people of the Lord look like, they deliberately try to avoid it and change it, even by changing the meaning of words, you know, definitions, and which is something called newspeak. So let's get a couple scriptures first. All right, this is Obadiah 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Well, first you got to find out who Esau Edom is, and the importance of his role in the Holy Scriptures and in the script. Remember, the scriptures is short for the root word of it is script. This is a script which is wrote out by the Lord like a really long movie that is full of intrigue and mystery. You know, this is the best movie, the best story ever written, because this movie plays out over thousands of years. And it takes time for prophecies and things to come to pass. But there are clues and evidences and relics and things that are left behind that will destroy different lies. All right. Next scripture. This is 1 Timothy 6:20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust, avoiding profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science, falsely so called, which some professing have erred concerning the faith. Grace be with thee, Amen. And this is something that Esau does. When you prove him wrong in the scriptures, when you produce relics from a time period and a place that was dug up by his own people, that prove the presence of dark flesh people in particular places where, according to the history which has been written, they weren't. But the history proves otherwise. Esau would try to use science and things such as DNA to try to disprove it. And he uses newspeak. So here's the definition of newspeak. An official or semi-official style of writing or saying one thing in a guise of its opposite, especially in order to serve a political or ideological cause while pretending to be objective. Esau is a cunning snake, man. All right? And here's what guise means: to mummer, to mask oneself. All right? Objective, ideology, idealism. All right? In 1796, the abstract metaphysical sense that reality is made up of only ideas. So they create their own reality by creating ideas which go around the scriptures. All right? Like the Hermetic theory. That's a guise. All right? It's a lie. And many, many other things. All right? Newspeak, also changing the meaning of words. For example, fair. They'll try to make fair in some cases mean someone who is pale flesh. No. Fair meant beautiful or good looking. A fair maiden didn't mean she was pale or she was white. It meant that she was good looking. The young man was fair. It meant he was handsome. It had nothing to do with skin complexion. All right. The word Semite. They created a false narrative, a guise, newspeak definition around it. Because when you do a word search in the Blue Letter Bible, it's going to tell you that the word Semite is not in the Blue Letter Bible. Okay? Immaculate Conception. You also do a word or virgin birth. When you do a word search on Immaculate Conception, it's going to tell you that does not exist in the King James Bible. So you do those blue letter searches on the things that they use to teach doctrine. All right, the changing of many words, how they try to misconstrue and make the word Idama and Edom mean the same thing, and they don't. All right, they look the same in the Hebrew, but they have two different meanings. All right, Adama means the ground. All right, and if you go out and plant a garden, then you know what the ground looks like. And then Edom means red. When's the last time you seen red dirt? A garden planted in red dirt, man. So when Jeremiah 14:2 says Judah is black unto the ground, all right. So these people are demonic demons, man. Okay. And going back to the word Semite, the man's name was Shem. All right. And there are 8 Shemitic races, not just one. But when you control the narrative by using the word Semite, you just create whatever the hell you want. All right. So now I'm just going to go and give you some gems, different information that, you know, that you hopefully elect out there can use to tear down the walls of lies that Esau has set up. All right. I'm just going to give you some basic information. This isn't going to be a long video, but a very informative one. All right. And here's a source of information of the 1925 Jewish Encyclopedia, Volume 5. All right, page 42 states that 90% of Ashkenazi Jews are Edom, and they're the enemy of the Israelites. States Edom is modern day Jewry. That's the 1925 Jewish Encyclopedia, Volume 5. Encyclopedia Judaica 1971, Volume 3. Jewish people began to call themselves Jew in the 19th century, but the reference to Hebrews in 1860, the Caucasus Khazars. That comes from the Encyclopedia Judaica 1971, Volume 3. 1905 Jewish Encyclopedia declares Jewish people are Edom. Okay? H.G. Wells also wrote in 1860 that the Jewish converted a millennium ago. So from 1860, you go back 1,000 years. Yeah, that's right about around the time they converted, man. Close to. And many historians, including Jewish ones, have pretty much said the same thing, including Shlomo Sand and Arthur Koestler, who not long after the book, The 13th Tribe, he and his wife were introduced to the concrete from a 4-story condo in London. They decided to hold hands and jump head first out of their 4-story apartment. All right, their 4th-story condo. And I'm sure that the Israeli authorities, the Mossad, had nothing to do with that. Wink, wink. All right. Dr. Samuel G. Morton, the Book of Ancient Egyptica in 1844. I'll say it again. Dr. Samuel G. Morton, Book of Ancient Egyptica, 1844, page 66, reveals the study of 750 craniums of Negroes found in Egyptian graves. Okay? According to a lot of, to the Hamitic theory, there weren't even any dark people there. According to them, they were all down in sub-Saharan Africa, which was a completely fabricated pseudoscience lie. Going back to 1 Timothy 6, 20 and 21. All right. It says, Morton states their status was the same in 1844 as in ancient Egypt, servitude. So basically, he's telling you that the craniums that he found in ancient Egypt matched the craniums of the people who were in slavery in 1844. This is powerful, painful information to the so-called white man, because he's fabricated his whole reality. He's fabricated and lied about who he is and who we are. All right. You even had Ben Eliezer ben Yehudi added vowel points and dots and different marks to the Hebrew and added the Yiddish and other things into corrupt the Hebrew. And then they want to discredit, because when you find the relics of the ancient Hebrew, both what they call, what the Jewish people refer to as biblical Hebrew, or the Paleo Hebrew, all right, and the Assyrian scripts, the script of Hebrew, there are no dots and dashes and vowel points. That's added on. That's how they're able to change words and change the sounds and the meaning of words. All right. The language they speak is primarily Yiddish based, with the use of Hebrew characters. So it has the illusion of being Hebrew, but it's not. Because you'll have scoffers come on the comic board and put up, Hebrew comments, but they're speaking it in that false fabricated way. Okay. Next bit of information. Tel Still was found in the 1990s, a victory monument fragment created from Hazael, king of Aram. And Hazael meets Elisha and fights with Israel and the kings. All right. Two Israelites kings, Joram, the northern kingdom, and Azakiah, the house of David. And that's in 2 Kings, the 8th chapter, man. Okay. So that fragment is proof of the presence of the existence of the Israelites. What some people will try, because once you prove and catch them up on all their lies, then they start saying that, well, it's just a myth. Okay, because if they can't be those people, because the flip side of the coin, man, you really can't blame Esau, Edom for not wanting to be Esau, especially when you know the end result of Esau. What's going to happen to them, but they just gonna have to accept who they are and their end. There's no way around what's going to happen to them, man. All right, this is archaeology serves as an eyewitness to whom the true Jew and the Israelites on earth. Period. The archaeology, they can write whatever they want to write, but the archaeology shows you, man. Hence the reason they use Renaissance art. To try to match that up with the things that are written in the Bible 2,000 years before, 3,000 years before. No, you can't do that, because when you go and dig up the relics in these places, you find dark images. Like in the Valley of the Kings, there's an image of Joseph on the wall with a Hamite, with an Egyptian, and Joseph is darker than the Egyptian. There's scriptures that compares the physical attributes of the Israelites to be similar to those of the Ethiopians. And the Ethiopians are one of the few races in the Bible, all right, that are still around, that still use their name and their lineage today. One of the very few. And the Lord did that, man. He preserved those people to be used as a marker to prove a specific point. Because you have to remember, Moses was mistaken for an Egyptian, all right, for being Ethiops. And that's a Greek word which just means dark flesh. Nothing more. All right. And then that name got put on a particular set of Hamites. All right. The book, The Roman Empire, Professor Michael Grant, all right, he's an Edomite, page 108, says it says that he used a reference from a Jewish encyclopedia in 1906 that Carthage was of Phoenicio-Semitic origin in its inhabitants, man. And who came from Carthage? Hannibal. And Hannibal marched on road, man. So Hannibal was not an African, right? He definitely was not a pale face. He was a dark flesh Israelite. All right. Carthage was a Jew, was full of Jews. More than likely, Benjamin and Levi were there too. All right. Why? Because when you read the Bible and it talks about when the Lord told them to flee, when those armies would surround Jerusalem, flee ye into the mountains, they fled into North Africa, into those mountains, man, to the Atlas Mountains, I believe they're called. All right. Okay. So, the so-called white man is exposed and he's a liar, man. And he is Esau Edom. Call Halal Yahweh Shem Abba Shai and a Baba Ball.